Welcome back to BWO Daily, your source for news in sports entertainment and the world of professional wrestling from you boys at Busted Wide Open. My name is Nick Howell.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous, and we have some news about the buff one, Marcus Bagwell. Buff Bagwell is unfortunately in the hospital right now. Apparently he was in a car accident. No one else was involved, but his 2013 Chevy Tahoe went sideways across the road, over the median, over a bench, across the other side of the road, the eastbound lanes, and into a freestanding bathroom, apparently. Crashed the car, was taken to the hospital in serious condition with some serious injuries. So send out your best for Buff because he's not doing so good right now. Unfortunately, it has come out, Nick, that he may have actually been under the influence of prescription medication when this happened. Yeah, it looks like it was driving under the influence. And the sad thing is it's actually a repeat. This also happened a few years ago. In 2012, the same thing happened. He was driving under the influence of prescription drugs, crashed his car, smashed up his face and neck, was actually on a feeding tube at the time. That's why, if you're watching his videos from earlier this year, his face is a little messed up from that still. So he's actually back in the same hospital now in Cobb County, Georgia. So get well, Buff, on every level there. Indeed. That's sad news.
Hopefully he gets a little bit more than a wrist slap this time.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Mama Bagwell's little boy needs to clean up something here. So, but hope he recovers quickly here. Luckily, no one was hurt besides him. And other more exciting, more uplifting news: AEW has announced that it will start opening up Daily's Place to fans.
Oh,
that's right. Starting actually. It'll be some this week on the August 24th episode, but then they are actually selling tickets to the following week's show, the 27th, I believe. The next Dynamite, basically. They're selling open tickets to the public for $30 a pop. They are, however, going to keep it to 10 to 15% of capacity. Daily's Place holds 5,500 people, so that's about 500 to 850 fans. They have announced they will be keeping them in pods. In seating pods, meaning that if you're going to come in with a group of people, you can sit with your pod, but then you will be socially distanced from other pods scattered around the place. And there will be, according to Tony Khan, enhanced safety protocols in place while this is going on. So, on the one hand, it's exciting to be able to get fans back in. On the other hand, even though they're putting in all these protocols and they're trying to be as safe as possible, it's Florida in the United States, which is basically like saying you're going into a sewer wearing nothing but a pair of surgeon's gloves. And so I'm wondering if this is actually a good idea at the end of the day.
Have fun hanging out with your pod people. Is it too soon to start making Invasion of the Body Snatcher references?
No, you've been doing it for weeks now.
Yeah, pod people, apparently now, the new audience of AEW.
But on the upside, they are an outdoor venue, and having fans back, at least in some capacity, will help a lot of the delivery of the show. So on the one hand, one hopes that, AEW has proven to be more safe and more reliable than a lot of other companies, especially in the U.S., when it comes to testing and when it comes to keeping, things above boards medically. So one hopes that those same protocols would be in place here, or at least that when it comes to the interaction between the audience and the wrestlers and the staff, that there would be protocols in place there as well. So I'm skeptically optimistic. I'm excited.
Same.
But also very, very nervous.
Very concerned.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, it's one of those things where, do I think it's the best idea in the world? No. But at the same time, I'm also kind of like, all right, guys, give it your best shot. Yeah. And we'll see. I don't have the same kind of concerns I have with WWE just taking temperature tests and allowing everyone to be around and wrestling. And obviously that, came to fruition when we had a couple of outbreaks over at WWE. So, yeah, so far, I guess AEW has earned more trust, but.
Well, you have to know WWE's thinking about it as well. They just leased the Amway Center indefinitely, which is an outdoor open-air venue. So,
well, they leased it for 2 months for now, but it could go for a few more months.
They're not having any events there anytime soon.
Lease.
So they got
right, not till 2021. Right. So that's how they got it. But again, and on WWE, Vince wanted to be the company that had fans back first. Obviously, the response of the United States populace to this event has kind of hampered that. But and also Vince's own actions within the company and how they handled it. But yeah, so it's looking like AEW is the first to get audiences back, but Vince at least will have digital people on LED boards in some sort of Thunderdome for WWE. So they're trying their own high-tech way of doing it.
SummerSlam hosted by Tina Turner this year.
I wish. That would be freaking awesome. That would be freaking give me that. Give me Tina Turner from Mad Max, and you have me sold for that show.
Or hosted by Master Blaster. Even better. Who runs Thunderdome? Who runs SummerSlam?
Master Blaster versus Randy Orton. I'm in. Sold. But speaking of WWE, they also have had a little bit of attrition. We know Renee Young is leaving. Also, apparently, Joe Belcastro, who is a writer and VP of television, he's already gone, according to Ringside News. It was confirmed by Wrestling Observer. He was the lead writer, the showrunner, producer, talent development for WWE and WWE TV and WWM Network programming. He was also notably the head writer of NXT, although Triple H in a call explained that it's actually a committee of people who are in charge of creative for NXT, including himself, Sean, and Road Dogg, and then a few writers. So calling Bill Campo the head writer of NXT apparently might have been a misnomer, according to Triple H, but he was definitely very involved in the writing. So he's already gone. He didn't just give his notice like Renee. He's out. There's no word on who's filling his shoes. No new positions have been listed on WWE careers. We just know that Belcampo, like a few other executives, is gone. Yeah,
the bloodletting continues with the top of the card, you could say, behind the scenes at WWE.
And also, crazily enough, according to a few sources, but nothing like really confirmed yet, Tom Pritchard is apparently, or Pritchard, Tom Pritchard, Bruce Pritchard is actually starting to get a little bit overwhelmed with all of his duties being the EVP for both shows, both Raw and SmackDown. Apparently, Shane McMahon is actually being looked at to be the new guy writing for Monday Night Raw and in charge of Monday Night Raw. So stay tuned. We'll let you know if that ever gets confirmed or how that falls. But speaking of Monday Night Raw, one of the talents over there is Dominic Mysterio. He's got a match with Seth Rollins on Sunday, Nick, and I had to throw this news story in here because I know you personally are going to have a little bit of fun with this. In an interview with Michael Wansover from ESPN, Rey Mysterio and Dominic were talking about their plans for Dominic's gimmick going forward. They had talked about, at one point, Dominic being known as Prince Mysterio. That's apparently still out there. They even have the gear made for him to be Prince Mysterio as opposed to Rey Mysterio, which is king. So it does make sense as opposed to El Hijo del Rey Mysterio, he'd be Prince. So although there was already a Prince in NXT, but we'll talk about that another time. The bottom line is that they want to do a storyline at some point about passing the torch from Rey to Dominic and kind of explain how that works in lucha culture to people who might not know, and have that storyline be kind of the inroads to understanding how those kinds of things are passed along, kind of like how Rey Mysterio Sr. passed along the gimmick to Rey Mysterio. And that was his uncle passing it to him. So now from father to son. Most interestingly for you, Nick, is that when asked about a mask, wearing a mask like his father does, Dominic said, and I quote, "I've always wanted to wear a mask, mainly because of tradition. It's important to keep that tradition going. Now with my face being out there, I think it would just have to be introduced a little bit differently so people understand. I definitely want to wear one, but it has to be introduced properly." And my add-on to this is possibly in that storyline that they were talking about where they passed the torch. So Dominic wanting to wear a mask, and they've got the gear ready to go. Nick, what are your thoughts on this, sir?
Well, we have some very serious business to discuss, first of all. Those of you that are $10 patrons or have been in the past are aware of hashtag NickBooking will understand why I'm emoting the way that I am over here. Mm-hmm. But yes, I am all in on this. In fact, I booked it as part of NickBooking with some nuance. Let's not get wrapped around the axle about that.
The mask was Sin Cara's mask.
Listen,
let's just be clear.
It was being silly. But the fact that Dominic Mysterio is coming out masked, listen, we got to have a talk. Which one of you patrons are working for WWE.
Who's the mole?
We have an investigation of our own to do, Sir Ian Dangerous.
Retribution has been attacking us ever since we were dissing the feud. Like, we know there's someone out there. We know they listen. We even know they watch because they've been stealing our layout for NXT. But the bottom line here is, Nick, is that Dominic will not be coming out at SummerSlam as Prince Mysterio. He will not be coming out in the mask then. But it is on the table. And yes, Nick, you did call it.
Thank you.
Couple of happy birthdays. Happy birthday to Tori, former stalker of Sable and girlfriend of Kane. She turned 56 years old today. Byron Saxton turned 39 years old, the inventor of the Saxtonator, one of the greatest finishing moves of all time. And Nick Miller, formerly of the Mighty Don't Kneel, he's 35. And Walter is only 33 years old. 33 years old, the big bear, Walter. Happy birthday to all of them. And Nick, that is the news.
Man, I really miss Walter. I wish we could get some more of him on our screen. And, happy birthday, Tori, Byron Saxton, Nick Miller, and to, of course, Walter Ringkampf himself, the Ring General. Thank you very much, Sir Ian Dangerous. And guys, make sure you get into our Discord community, and all of our social media is down in the links below. Make sure you slam that subscribe button and jingle your notification bell so you get notified anytime we put up a brand new episode of BWO Daily. Make sure you're following us over at Twitch, twitch.tv/BustedWideOpen. We are going to have an insane weekend of live streaming.
Madness.
Covering TakeOver 30, covering SummerSlam 2020, regular show and patron mailbag on Saturday. Much, much more is all going to be going down over on the Twitch. So make sure you're following us over there so you get notified when we do go live to break those shows down. Well, my name is Nick Howell. You can find me on Twitter at DataCenterDude.
And I am Sir Ian Dangerous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Ian Dangerous.
And we will see you guys next time.